Okay.
All right, so Ron, when did this all come together, really?
Honestly, probably in the last 24, 36 hours. Extensive process, go through a lot of things. Just started some interviews last summer, had some more during the season, and waited till sort of teams fell out of the playoffs to do some more interviews, and then got to the point we were ready to make our final decision, and we did that and acted pretty quickly in turning around and getting him in here and doing the announcement.
It sounds like this meeting where the two of you hung out in 2019 for a month was key in all of this, though.
I think that played an integral part. I think you get to know somebody over a 4-week period of time, and you get to talk hockey, you get to watch someone's work ethic. Families were there, so you get to see how their families interact and are. And I think just came away from that experience having a lot more respect for a guy that I didn't really know a lot about going into. And when it came time to look for coach, he was certainly on my list. And as we went through the interview process, you get to a point where you just been in this game a long time, and you get a gut feeling that that's the right guy for the position, and Dave was that choice.
How much do we read into his background at North Dakota and in the juniors and developing young talent into how you're going to approach the expansion draft and the NHL draft?
I wouldn't read a lot into that, but I think that's certainly an added tool in his belt. You have to work with young guys, you have to work with veteran players, you have to meld that locker room. It's a unique challenge with an expansion team. We're going to pick it on July 21st, and probably within 60 days we're going to be on the ice together as a group at the training facility. So being able to sort of coordinate all that, communicate what you want to happen clearly and concisely to the players, get the players believing that you're in this for them and trying to help them be as successful as possible is critical to our success, and we think Dave will do that extremely well.
How many people did you have actually in person in this Zoom era in terms of on-site interviews? Because obviously that had to be a weird factor going through this process, not being able to sit down with somebody face to face.
Heck, there's people I hired in our hockey staff that I still haven't met face to face, but no, it is a crazy process. You do interviews any way you need to do them, whether it's on phone, on Zoom, in person, but I think it's all critical just to have that opportunity to sort of talk with people and get to that point. But at the end of the day, you have sort of a set of values you want, and you're trying to find that person that, one, I can work with, he can work with me, we can work together to try and be successful, and that you have, like I said before, you get a gut feeling and a knowing that this is the guy you want to kind of lead your organization, and it became very clear to us that Dave Hakstol was that choice.
And my last question is just the idea of doing all this in the Zoom era, scouting for the expansion draft. You have to obviously have conversations with him about what you're thinking heading into the expansion draft and the NHL draft. So how has this scouting process been in terms of having those conversations with him?
Yeah, I mean, this year has been, doing an expansion team is a challenge enough. When you throw a pandemic on top of it, it makes it more interesting. This is totally different. Vegas didn't have an expansion draft for 17 years before they went through it. GMs have now been through it 4 years ago. They've had 4 years to prepare for us. So things will be a little different in that regard. The invention of the taxi squad this year, I know why the league did it, but you've got some of the best players that are not playing in the NHL and they're not playing in the American Hockey League, so you don't get to scout them. So in essence, they don't get to play a lot of hockey games. Challenging for the players. I mean, I give the players a ton of credit for what they did this year, but you could see at times where the games kind of lagged a little bit just because it had to be mentally and physically draining, all the things that they had to do and the protocols they had to go through. So a lot of challenges in that aspect for us, but we give our scouting staff a lot of credit. They worked extremely hard, whether it was live viewings, whether it was on video, to try and do everything they can to get it right. We'll continue to do that over the next month, and we'll put the best team we possibly can on the ice when we make those selections on July 21st.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Where'd you end up settling?
I haven't yet.